Live from the Ball State News Center, this is NewsLink Indiana in high definition.
Good evening and welcome to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jayla Washington.
And I'm Brenton Roy. Thank you for joining us. Several Democratic candidates stopped by Muncie today during the final stretch of their campaign. NewsLink Indiana's Max Lewis has the story.
Democratic gubernatorial candidate John Gregg campaigned today at Vera Mae's Bistro in downtown Muncie. Gregg, who also ran for governor in 2012, stopped by to rally local voters behind him and his fellow Democratic candidates.
We work with education and Glenda Ritz, not against her. Teachers are part of the solution, not the problem to our schools.
The campaign stop was part of Gregg's statewide bus tour that is traveling the state for a final push in the last few days of the election. Gregg was joined on the trail today by current Indiana Senator Joe Donnelly and Democratic Senate candidate Evan Bayh, who was not originally on the schedule. Gregg is, however, enjoying a lead in the state, with a recent Gravis poll giving him a 4-point lead over Holcomb and a Wish TV Ball State poll giving him a 5-point advantage.
People are paying attention to it, and that makes a huge difference because as someone in Indiana who's a member of the minority party, I've got to be able to get people to look beyond the party label.
Students from the Ball State Democrats attended the campaign stop where Gregg spoke about making college more affordable, something the BSU Democrats are concerned about.
Making college more affordable is a really important thing to me. So John Gregg's pretty much the only one that has a plan for that.
Also on the bus tour is Gregg's running mate Christina Hale, former First Lady of Indiana Judy O'Bannon, and candidate for Attorney General Lorenzo Arredondo. The bus tour is scheduled to make 21 more stops between now and Election Day. In Muncie, Max Lewis, NewsLink, Indiana.
The next stop in Gregg's bus tour is in Bluffton, Indiana, tomorrow morning at 9.
Indiana is home to one of the most watched gubernatorial races in the nation, and the race between Republican candidate Eric Holcomb and Democratic candidate John Gregg is a toss-up as we near the November 8th election.
In the latest polls, John Gregg leads Holcomb by 4 points, a shrinking lead that he has held since early October. John Gregg has had an advantage in his campaign, beginning in January of 2015, as compared to Holcomb, who began his bid for governor shortly after Mike Pence withdrew from the gubernatorial race in July of 2016. The two have conflicting ideas regarding the Religious Freedom Restoration Act put into effect by Mike Pence in 2015. Holcomb leads towards keeping it, where Gregg pleads otherwise.
We believe in the repeal of RFRA, and we believe in civil rights for all members of the LGBT community.
The two also have conflicting ideas about how Indiana budget money should be spent in the future. Glenn looks to spend $3 billion on local and state projects, while Holcomb wants to avoid such spending, seeing it as a step backwards.
I don't want to go back to those days of debt and dysfunction, and that's the contrast, and that's the choice voters will make. Go back or go forward.
Gregg and Holcomb both think the most pressing issue in Indiana is creating and keeping a positive job environment for Hoosiers. The two also agree on expanding pre-kindergarten schooling and replacing the I-STEP test. Gregg is joined on the ballot by running mate Christina Hale and Holcomb's running mate Suzanne Crouch, along with Libertarian candidates Rex Bell and Carl Tagenhorst. In Muncie, Alex Kilmer, NewsLink, Indiana.
The two will continue to campaign until the November 8th election, when Indiana's new governor will be appointed.
Indiana's Senate race has captured national attention as Republican candidate Todd Young and Democratic candidate Evan Bayh are in a dead heat for Indiana's open Senate seat. A recent poll by Monmouth University showed both Young and Bayh tied at 45% each.
University showed both Young and Bayh tied at 45% each.
This wasn't in the
This
script.
result showed momentum for Young's campaign after trailing Bayh by a steady margin in prior polls.
We've gone to a point now where we're tied with Evan Bayh, and certainly the trajectory is going to take us to victory in November.
Indiana's Senate race could be a major factor in determining which party controls the Senate. Much of the campaign has seen both Young and Bayh attacking one another for a variety of issues. Bayh has been under fire for allegations regarding his place of residence, claiming he had been living in his Indianapolis condo when public records show he had claimed his multi-million-dollar home in Washington, D.C. as his current place of residence.
There's nothing to that, just like there's nothing to the other charges as well. He thinks the only way he can win this election is by tearing me down. I want to build the people of the state of Indiana up.
If Bai wins this election, it would be the first time that two Democrats have held the Senate in Indiana since 1977. Live in the newsroom, I'm Emerson Lehman, NewsLink, Indiana.
If Bai wins the election, this would be the first time that two Democrats have held a seat in the Indiana Senate since 1977. As for the presidential race, both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are wasting no time as Election Day approaches. The two candidates have been going across the country, giving their final pitches to gain votes, especially in the battleground states. Steve Nance reports.
It's a race to the finish for presidential challengers Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
We are going to win back the White House.
We need to do everything we possibly can between now and the time the polls close.
And a fight for every vote.
We need more people to vote.
Show up early and vote.
Trump even telling early voters Tuesday in Wisconsin to go and change their vote if they voted for Clinton.
If you live here, or in Michigan, or Pennsylvania, or Minnesota, those four places, you can change your vote to Donald Trump.
The latest CNN poll of polls shows Clinton with a 5-point lead over Trump nationally, 47 to 42%. But the race has tightened in key battleground states, which could determine the winner. Clinton is up by only 2 points in Florida. Trump has a slightly larger 5-point lead in Arizona. Clinton has a 4-point advantage in Pennsylvania. Trump is up 6 points in Nevada. Those tight margins have the candidates and their surrogates hitting the battlegrounds hard in the final days. Trump and Vice President Biden are in Florida.
But we have 2 more today in Florida.
Florida.
And Mike Pence is in Arizona.
6 days away from a great victory all across the state of Arizona and all across the United States of America.
That's where Clinton will also be campaigning late Wednesday night. In Washington, I'm Steve Nannis.
NewsLink Indiana will continue to have election coverage throughout the week. We will be highlighting prominent races throughout the state and nationally. You can also join us here on NewsLink November 8th for full election coverage. Our news team will be providing live updates throughout the show. You can tune in at 9 p.m. on Cardinal Vision or watch on livestream.com.
So, I was kind of noticing a few raindrops hitting me on the way here, and I'm starting to wonder if that nice weather we've been seeing is going to slip away from us, Jayla.
I hope not, but you know, it's weird to me. I don't know whether I'm supposed to wear a sweater or shorts or short sleeves or sandals or boots. I don't know. Nathan, what can you tell us about this upcoming weather?
Yeah, today was more like a summer day in the middle of summer. That was exactly what we saw with weather. Beautiful conditions overall, but that sunshine this afternoon allowed us to build up enough energy to produce a few rain showers that moved through Muncie earlier this evening. More is on its way. It's currently about halfway through the state of Indiana and will be here closer to 11 o'clock midnight. Highs today topped out at 80 degrees here in Muncie. We tied the record in Indianapolis at 78 based on the record that was set back in 1962. Currently outside sitting at 72 degrees with clear skies currently in Muncie. That will be changing. Keep an eye on the sky. South-southwest wind at 9 miles per hour currently allowing us to continue to have those mild temperatures throughout the evening. Rain chances are continuing through the rest of tonight. Sunshine will return, but we'll track how long it'll stick around. And then will those fall-like temperatures return for the weekend? We'll have that in the complete forecast.
Okay, thank you, Nathan. Coming up, 2 Iowa police officers were found dead today. Find out details on the suspect after the break.
And 2 Muncie parents are still asking for public help in finding their daughter. See what you can do to help when we return.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
So I've come up with a family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. Violence has once again struck law enforcement, this time in Iowa. Kim Hutcherson reports.
2 Iowa police officers were found in their vehicles, fatally shot at separate intersections in the Des Moines area early Wednesday. The first was discovered just after 1 a.m. About 20 minutes later, a second officer was found at an intersection less than 2 miles away. He died a short time later at a nearby hospital.
It doesn't appear that either officer had an opportunity to interact with the suspect. It doesn't look like there was an exchange of conversation. Both officers were seated in their cars and were shot while they were sitting.
46-year-old Scott Michael Green was taken into custody after a 7-hour manhunt.
He was just walking down the road, flagged down a DNR employee. I don't think it was a DNR officer. Flagged down a DNR employee, presented his driver's license to him, told him to call 911. From there, the responding deputies took him into custody without incident.
Police said Green was known to authorities and had recently been in an altercation involving the Confederate battle flag during a high school football game.
He was waving it during the national anthem, and he had picked some people of color to wave it in front of, and although they didn't complain to us, there's people in the crowd that felt that was offensive and that he should be removed from the stadium.
Locals have rallied around their police departments as news of the shooting spread. The deceased officers have been identified as Des Moines PD Sergeant Anthony Bominio and Urbandale Police Officer Justin Martin. I'm Kim Hutcherson reporting.
Fire set late Tuesday night is under investigation. Muncie Police and Fire Department investigators claim arson is behind the flames set to a 2-story house in the 100 block of South Council Street. Chief Investigator Robert Mead said an intentionally set fire was ignited on the first floor of the building. Damage to the house was not extensive. No injuries were reported, although one person was transported from the scene by ambulance to Ball Memorial Hospital.
An update on a missing Indianapolis woman tonight.
Tonight, a Muncie woman is seeking the public's help in locating her missing daughter. 23-year-old Angelina Barlow has been missing since early Thursday morning. Her mother, Christina Barlow, Kramers, reported that some tips have been received. However, there has been no official sighting of Barlow. Police detectives are still investigating the disappearance. If you have any information on Barlow's whereabouts, please call 317-327-6160. The National Institute of Health reports that 1 in 4 college students reports to have received consequences after drinking. Ball State is challenging this statistic with awareness events such as Campus Crawl. NewsLink reporter Gabby Mitchell has the story.
Drinking culture appears to be a norm on most college campuses, but the Residence Hall Association is challenging that norm by hosting events such as this past week's Campus Crawl, where students engage in activities such as beer pong, as they also heard from Campus Police, the Office of Health, Alcohol, and Drug Education, along with a demonstration of the Indiana Lifeline.
Ball State's really just making everyone, they're not making people be informed, but they're really pushing for everyone to be informed of this kind of thing, so if they do choose to make these decisions, they know about the Lifeline law, they know about all the services we have on campus if something happens. And that's something I don't think too many campuses always push for.
A recent study from collegedrinkingprevention.org has reported that 59.4% of students have been reported drinking. As a result, 97,000 students have reported that they have been assaulted after a night of drinking.
Well, in theory, we've reached the fall season, but when will it actually feel like fall?
Your full weather forecast is next.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Jayla, we've already talked about how the weather's been so great. I even wore shorts on the first day of November.
That's so crazy. I can't believe that. Nathan, what can we see these upcoming days?
Today was a treat, and it's a carryover from Halloween. I wore shorts personally today too, and that was definitely the story of all of the weather today. Look at these morning lows this morning. We started off really mild, 63 degrees here in Muncie. High topped out today at 80 degrees out at the airport, tied the record for the highest temperature for this day in history. 78 degrees was the high in Indianapolis. So definitely a beautiful day overall. The sunshine was a welcome relief, but it didn't feel like fall at all. But we are dropping down in temperature. 72 at the top of the hour. Winds are still at the south-southwest at 9 miles per hour, and that's allowing us to see some more mild temperatures throughout the evening. And that'll be the case throughout the rest of the evening. Let's look at the planner by 1 a.m. Still could see some cloudy conditions, some thunderstorms. We're going to talk about those in just a moment. 66 by 1 a.m. Winds starting to shift to the west-southwest as we progress through the evening. The complex that we are tracking this evening is right out, just crossing the border into Indiana at this hour, coming closer back to Muncie here. We see that the rain showers passed through earlier this afternoon. That sunshine allowed for that development of some showers earlier, but we do have more on the way. It's about halfway through the state, places like Lafayette seeing rain at this hour. Let's time this out for you so that we keep you in the know. Stopping here first at 11 p.m. this evening. You notice that complex will be nearing Muncie. By midnight, we do believe it'll be raining here in Muncie. We could see a few flashes of lightning as the storm moves through this evening, so don't rule that out of the forecast. By 2 a.m., we could just see scattered showers and mostly cloudy skies for the remainder of the evening. However, by the time you get to tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., showers will still be hanging out with us, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to take an umbrella with you in the morning on your morning commute. How much rain are we expecting out of the system? Our area to the north is expecting more rain. Almost adventure rain is possible in Marion. Here in Muncie, we're talking a little bit less, 0.05 of an inch is possible. Severe weather-wise, not much else left for this evening. There was a couple warnings with this storm. However, tonight we are expecting heavy rain, lightning, and they can't rule out that potential for some small hail with this storm. The 7-day forecast looking pretty decent, returning back to fall. We changed times going in Sunday morning. Look at those high temperatures, returning back to the 60s, which is normal for this time of year. And then once we get into next week for Election Day on Tuesday, partly cloudy skies with highs once again back in the middle 60s.
All right, so just a little bit of rain, and then we can look forward to some of those nice temperatures.
A little bit of rain, we can cool down, and we're in good shape.
All righty.
And Josh, what's going on in the world of sports tonight?
Well, the weather was pretty good, but Ball State football was not. We'll take a look at what went wrong for Ball State last night, and we preview the men's basketball exhibition game that takes place tomorrow night. All of this when we come back.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With a unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but things changed. Teaching didn't seem that cool anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Amazing things are happening in teaching, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Josh Shelton with sports. There was one word to sum up last night's football game between Ball State and Western Michigan: domination. The Cardinals lost to the visiting Broncos 52-20. The Broncos, who are ranked 23rd in the nation, have yet to lose a game this season. The X factor for Western Michigan was wide receiver Corey Davis, who racked up 272 yards and all 3 receiving touchdowns. The Cardinals also turned the ball over 3 times in the first half, including a pick-6 on Ball State's first offensive drive. Coach Mike New addressed that issue in yesterday's post-game conference.
We can't have turnovers. That's what gives sour grapes. That's what makes you toss and turn at night. That's what's going to make me toss and turn tonight and not be able to wait and to get back in here tomorrow morning, attack the film, and start full speed ahead on Eastern Michigan. But it is what it is. It's a dose of medicine that I have to swallow, even though I don't want to. But we're going to learn from it. We're going to get better from it. We're going to be real with ourselves. We're going to fight that man in the mirror and make sure that we move on quickly and make sure we're at our best when we get back to the practice field here on Thursday.
Football hasn't offered much comfort for Cardinal fans, but no fear, basketball is here. Ball State hosts University of Indianapolis tomorrow at 7 p.m. for an exhibition game. Last year, Coach James Whitford decided against an exhibition game and instead opted for 2 close scrimmages. Whitford felt that the scrimmages did not prepare his team for the first game of the regular season. That was the biggest reason for Whitford scheduling the exhibition game against the UND Greyhounds.
That was the biggest reason for the change, was to try to get situated a little bit earlier before the opening tip for what a real game's going to look like. Get a little experience playing under the lights. And I have great respect for Stan Gerard as both a coach and as a person. And I thought it'd be a great test. They're about as good a Division II program as we're going to get. And I think he does an unbelievable job. And so for that reason, I picked them.
Yorktown Volleyball has advanced to its 2nd consecutive state championship match with the sweep of the Andrean this Saturday. The Tigers are coming off a 36-1 season and will face Providence in a rematch of last year's championship. After a heartbreaking runner-up season, the coach and her players want it more than ever. NewsLink Indiana caught up with the team to find out more about Saturday's matchup.
This match is completely different because it's a state championship and we know what's on the line, and it's just such a special match because of what happened last year, and we're obviously ready to come back better than ever and show them what we can really do.
We're preparing for a state championship. Everybody's hungry, everybody wants to win, and so it's more just about how do we stay focused, how do we work on the things that we need to work on to put ourselves in a position to walk away with a championship on Saturday.
We have to stay calm and obviously just do something different than last year, and we know we can do it better this year.
Josh, once the show's over, I'm definitely going to try to catch the rest of the World Series. Can you give us any new updates of what's going on?
Well, right now it's the bottom of the 4th inning. Cubs are up 3-1. The Indians are at bat right now, so right now it looks like the Cubs have the advantage.
All right, well, go Cubbies. And coming up.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to theshelterpetproject.org and meet if you are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener and loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to theshelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Connor Miller, and here is your entertainment news. Taylor Swift was just announced as the world's highest paid woman in music of 2016 on the Forbes magazine list. Swift, who came in second last year to Katy Perry, can thank her very successful 1989 album, along with her loyal and growing fan base, for her $170 million profit. Adele came in second this year at almost $100 million less at $80.5 million. Rounding out the top 5 were Madonna, Rihanna, and Beyonce, respectively. Ball State University is hosting the Amazing Taste tomorrow at the LA Pittenger Student Center from 5 to 8. The annual celebration of global cultures features cuisine, music, and dance from over 20 countries for students and families. This year, there will also be exotic animals, photo booths, henna tattoos, and ice sculpting demonstrations. And if you're daring enough, you can even eat a bug. Students can use their meal swipes or pay $8.40. Guests 13 and over are $9, and children under 13 are $6. That's all for your entertainment news. Back to you at the desk.
Alrighty, let's have a final look at weather.
It's definitely going to be a change over the next 24 hours. We can expect rain showers this evening, a few thunderstorms even in the forecast, dropping down to 57 degrees this evening. For the daytime tomorrow, expect clearing conditions. A high of 64 is expected as we return back to what we would consider those fall-like temperatures for this time of year.
All right, well, that's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to watch tomorrow night at 9 p.m. right here on Cardinal Vision.
And be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Have a good night.